Welcome back to another edition of Wake 'em Up Wednesday. Basically, it's just me live streaming, but we are celebrating 10 years of this channel being in existence. 10 years. We're celebrating tonight. 10 years of truth. Can you believe that? This channel has been doing this now for a decade. Y'all, this is basically the only real outlaw truth podcast in the fucking world. So, aren't you happy to be here? Because I am. And we're going to have a good time tonight, like always. You guys know it doesn't matter if we're celebrating a 10-year anniversary of me doing this, or if it's just another random ass Wednesday. I'm going to be bringing my own brand of truth and comedy, and it is the best brand. And that's why I've been here for so many damn years, and why I'm still here, still showing up and still doing this. And you are still showing up as well. There's been a lot of fakes who have failed, a lot of frauds who've been exposed, a lot of scammers, grifters. This channel is none of those things. This is the only real, independent news broadcasting, comedy, truth, music thing. This is the only thing like this. Whatever this channel is, however you want to describe it, whatever you want to call it or label it, it's the only thing like this. There is no other thing like this thing. And tonight, I'm going to show you what a fraud looks like and what a shill looks like when I expose one later on. That's right, doing some shill busting tonight. And going to be breaking down the pretty good psyop. Huh. Alex pretty. Renee good. Pretty good. We're going to be breaking that down tonight. Going to have a lot of fun. It's Wake 'em Up Wednesday. Y'all ready to have some fun? All right. One of the ways I like to start off my show is by reading the super chats that came in before I even started my show. I have awesome people who watch here, and they will donate sometimes before I even go live. And this is an example of that. So before I kicked off the stream, RY3926, gotta love those YouTube handles, huh? Says, before you get started, can you do an impression of Jack Morgan reviewing a Richie from Boston video where Richie from Boston talks about Bible vape juice? Also, please try to use Jack's unusual mannerisms. I make $100K a year. Wow. Interesting way to get things started tonight. Okay. All right, hold on. Let me make sure I got this down. Jack reviewing Richie from Boston, where he talks about his Bible vape juice. Jack's, oh yeah. Maria. All right, we sound good. So I was watching this video, and there's this guy, and we're going to get a little wow. Going to get a little crazy. We're going to be talking out of our butt. All right, we're just having fun here. So there's this guy who sells, he sells organic Bible vape juice. Yeah. I was telling my girlfriend the other day, remember when I used to go skateboarding? I used to want to be a skateboarder, but I ended up doing this, and now I make 6 figures a year. Isn't that crazy? You could buy a Caddy Daddy t-shirt. Nestor's here. So yeah, let's check out this video. Hey, Nestor, are you glad to be here? Totally. Wow. All right. I've been trying to tell people the only cure for the Chinese nano AIDS is, of course, my 100% organic holy water infused Bible vape juice. It is literally the cleanest, purest holy water combined with mulched up little pieces of organic Bible. And this is a concoction like no other. And it cures nano AIDS from your anus. That's right. Nano AIDS will instantly be cured from any of the Chinese nano drones that may have flown up your anus, which they most likely have. In fact, I'm positive there are nano drones inside of your anus right now, and you're totally unaware of it. So my job is to make you aware of the nanoaids which do exist in your anus from these Chinese nano drones, all right? I've explained numerous times. They fly up there without you even noticing. They're really freaking small, all right? And the only way to get rid of these little guys is to vape like I'm doing now. 100% organic Bible vape juice. You can use my promo code down below. You can get 25% off. And right now, I'm low on stock. So if you want to get some of these cartridges, you're going to need to order fast and order now. At any rate, I digress. Like, share, and subscribe, or don't. I'm out. There you go. Starting us off with the impression there. All right, I like it. Good way to get us started. Oh, and he's coming at me again with another super chat and another request. All right, here we go. He says, Richie from buying his own Bible vape juice shop. All right. On Venice Beach, and Roseanne frequenting the establishment and trying to haggle for a celebrity discount. Very creative. You know, most people would crumble under the pressure. But I'm going to make this happen. So, as I was saying, I've sold so many cartridges of my organic Bible vape juice. It's quite a hit. I'm literally the only human alive who's curing Chinese nano AIDS from people's anuses. And so what I've been planning on doing and what I've actually accomplished is I've started a brick and mortar business. All right. I decided to actually start a physical business selling my organic Bible vape juice. And we're doing it in a wonderful place, Venice Beach. There's a lot of foot traffic. My thought was, with all the foot traffic and all of the tourists who go to Venice Beach and all of the Chinese nano AIDS, which surely has infected all of their anuses, who better than to sell them the cure other than yours truly? In fact, once I set up my Huntington Beach location, we had a celebrity show up, and she absolutely loves the product.
That's right. Hello, fellow humans and Americans. So, like Richie, so since I love your organic Bible vape juice, so much, because it's helped me, stop smoking as much cigarettes. I still smoke cigarettes, but, not as much. Now I also vape on Richie's organic Bible vape juice. Also, Richie, I was wondering if I could maybe possibly partake in some of that dick. As you know, I'm not a freaking lesbian like Renee Nicole Good. So I'm actually interested in some of that Richie from Boston dick.
Roseanne, I would love to, but there was a Chinese drone-related medical emergency that has rendered my sexual organ useless. So to be quite frank, I would not be able to have a manly function, and I would not be able to penetrate you and pleasure you as you may have hoped that I would be able to do. At any rate, you can still get my promo code. I will give you the celebrity discount as long as you promote my product on your next live stream. You can get 40% off using my promo code down below. You can like, you can share, you can subscribe, or you cannot. At any rate, I shall digress. I'm out. There you go. It's what you call working for a living. All right. No layups in this bitch. Got Big Money Bob handing out gift memberships for the channel. We got it going on like donkey schlong in this mother. Like donkey schlong? Yes. Trout fishing at Hood Park coming in with a very generous super chat. Says, Jake the Awake, congrats on the 10-year run on YouTube. Visiting parents will watch later. Trumptricity, billions and billions. Oh, I appreciate the very generous super chat, sir. And yes, we are celebrating 10 years of truth here on YouTube. That's right. And like I said earlier, this is the only channel that really does this like this. And you know what? As long as you guys are still here supporting, as long as you guys are still showing up and we're still having fun, I'm down to go another 10 more. In fact, let's rock this motherfucker forever. Yeah. Kevin Arnold from the freaking Wonder Years grew up to marry Winnie Cooper. He says, what's up? I don't know why I do that. I'm getting too old for this shit. T-Cran 4D says, 11 days before he's shot, he kicks a taillight off their car and don't get arrested. I would have been in jail. Scripted shit. For real though, this blew my mind the other day, talking about scripted shit. Check this out. If they weren't scripting all this shit, like nothing would ever happen. Everything would be totally peaceful and pretty boring, but boring in a good way. So basically, if all of the Minneapolis ice shit, for instance, is manufactured, and if all these world stage events that captivates all the sheeple's attention, if all these things are staged and scripted, if all major events are scripted, that means if they were not to do any of that, everything would just be very uneventful. So that means real natural life is very uneventful. And these motherfuckers are scripting all of the major events that people talk about. So if you just take that away, what do you have? A super uneventful place where no terrible shit really happens. I mean, yeah, you know, there's some bad stuff going on, right? But I'm saying none of this shit that they're portraying is actually happening. So when you really think about it, man, this place is a lot more peaceful than they'll have us believe. Right? All right. Thanks for the super chats getting us started. That's awesome, you guys. I haven't even pulled up my watch page yet. Got too busy being carried away with all that stuff. All right, there I am. One more super chat, and then we can get started breaking down this Alex Pretti nonsense. Did any of you guys actually fall for that Alex Pretti shit? What are the chances anybody in my audience fell for that? Doxological Thinker says it's Wake 'em Up Wednesday. Here's $10 for 10 years. It's definitely a pretty good show they're putting on. I wonder what car was in the pilot episode. Keep up the good work, Jake. Wonder what car was in the pilot episode. All right, I don't get the last line, but thank you very much for the super chat donation. I really appreciate it. Doxological Thinker. Glad you could be here, bro. And First Amendment, who I haven't seen in a while, glad you could make it. He said, "You're funny, MFer. Turn the background green for the good ganja I am smoking, please. You are genius for putting together pretty good." Oh, I wish I came up with pretty good, but the script writers came up with it. And then people immediately, noticed that when you put those two names together, pretty good, that they're definitely mocking the sheeple who believe this shit and gaslighting those of us with eyes that can see, brains that can think. There you go. There you go. Green for the ganja lover in you. Thank you, First Amendment, for the super chat, brother. All right. So with that said, you guys ready to start the fun and games and break down the footage? I'm sure most of you guys have seen the footage. So what I thought we would do tonight, I'm going to kill two birds with one stone. We're going to break down the footage of Alex Pretti being supposedly shot, but we're going to watch another content creator, a supposed other truther in the supposed community. We're going to see what he has to say. And then we're going to see which one of us is really telling the truth. All right. If that makes sense. So we're going to watch a shill break down the Alex Pretti shooting. That's what we're going to do. All right. So right now, I see an overabundance of content creators doing a breakdown of this story. I see an overabundance of big channels that are doing a slow motion breakdown, breaking it down frame by frame. And they're leading their viewers to two conclusions. It's a justifiable murder, justifiable killing, and the ICE agents are totally in the right and they're heroes. Or it is a non-justifiable murder. It's murder in cold blood. And the ICE agents should be fired and held accountable, right? So they lead you down the two paths, but the one option none of them are bringing up is if the whole thing is scripted. How about that, you guys? A shitload of YouTubers breaking this down, and none of them are going, hey, wait a minute. How do we know this isn't like AI or some weird scripted shit? No. So it's almost as if they had all these YouTubers, these big name shill YouTubers, do a slow-mo breakdown for you, because we all know sheeple aren't going to do their own slow-mo breakdown. So check it out. This guy, Brian here, I'm sure some of you guys recognize Brian. Some people would call Brian a truther. Well, I'm going to show you right now that Brian here is going to consider this a tragedy, Brian here is going to tell you all about how Alex Pretti dies. Brian ain't going to tell you that this maybe, possibly could have been scripted. Nope, it never crosses his mind. So I just want to show you the difference between his breakdown and my breakdown. Kill two birds with one stone.
Hey, I'm Brian. Welcome back to the channel. I really appreciate you guys being here. We have another death in the streets. Some are calling it an execution in the streets of Minnesota. And I want to break this down from 3 separate camera angles. Before we get started, I want you to know I'm not Democrat and I'm not Republican. I refuse to vote for the chains of my own oppression. I know that the entire system is corrupt, filled with corrupt people who are liars, who are representatives not of the American people, but of donors. They're controlled by AIPAC, by the Israeli elite. They give away foreign aid. They build up the military-industrial complex.
Yeah, here's Brian's script. You can tell he's like got the spiel almost memorized. And he always starts out by like, I'm not part of the left. I'm not part of the right. In fact, the left versus right is a government-controlled paradigm. So Brian gives his audience that really easy crumb of truth. Oh, right and left are both wings of the same dirty bird. He'll even say that here in one of his videos I'm going to show you. The right and the left are both wings of the same dirty bird. But then he goes on to say, there's been a death in the streets again. And this is a tragedy. Right? So pay attention to the language that Brian uses when he talks about what's going on. Doxological Thinker says, I was pointing out that Renee Good was driving a pilot in the first episode of the scripted ICE incidents show. I totally didn't even know that. Thanks for pointing it out. Okay, now I get why you were saying in the pilot. Got ya. Thank you for the super chat and for clearing that up. I'm sure there were some other people in the audience who might have been confused as well. Thank you. All right, so let's listen to Brian break down the footage, and then we'll break down the footage at the same time.
Prison industrial complex, and they write laws, Republican and Democrat, write laws that make us less free and less prosperous. They steal our wealth so that they can build up the welfare machine and the warfare machine. And I feel like if you vote, you are continuing to perpetuate a system that everybody knows is corrupt from top to bottom. So I'm not on ICE's side and I'm not on the protester side. I want to ferret out the truth, examine these 3 videos, and see what's actually going on.
All right. So I want to point out that Brian here, he just has this thing about him that just feels like he's part of law enforcement. He has like this way of speaking where it's like he's governmenting a certain side here, but he's going to start his video by saying, I'm not part of the left or the right, and I don't think you should vote. I think that the right and the left are both wings of the same dirty bird, so you can totally trust me as I break down this event. And then
the victim here is Alex Jeffrey Pretti.
The victim. You hear the language used? The victim.
People said he effed around and found out. And why in the hell would any American bring a gun to a protest? Guess what? We have a supreme law of the land. It's called the Second Amendment. It's found in the Bill of Rights, which is found in the founding document, supposedly founding document of our country, the Constitution. The Constitution is supposed to be the supreme law of the land. And it says a well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. Your right to keep and bear arms is an unalienable right that can't be given to you by government and can't legitimately be taken away by government. If you don't exercise those rights, they're like muscles, you will lose them. So exercising your rights should be no big deal, and no government agent who swore to protect those rights should be offended by them or threatened.
All right, Brian, break down the damn footage, why don't you? All right, we're going to skip to where he finally starts breaking down the footage because his spiel right here sounds like some shit that he's reading or has partially memorized.
Viewpoints. I'm going to try not to show anything that's objectionable. We're going to go through it kind of in slow motion. Maybe we'll go through it in fast motion first, but I just want to show you this so we can get a handle on what's actually going on here. We'll run it back.
Again, they're having a shitload of YouTubers break this down in slow motion and lead you down either two paths, that it's murder unjustifiably or that it's justified. Those are your two choices. And Brian's going to do exactly the same thing.
See who pulled the firearm first, try to determine how many shots were fired and who was at fault. Now here's Pretti right here, just so you know, he's in the foreground, and we're going to see another angle of this, but it looks to me like the violence, the force, was initiated by the ICE agents, although I don't know what happened before the video camera started rolling. So I don't know if you saw that. This ICE agent right here pushes what looks to be a female right here in the light colored coat with the, looks like a pink mask on, pushes.
Yeah, look at that. What kind of footage is this? Well, did they film this like a potato from the 1800s? Like, come on, y'all. What year is this? Y'all, I have an old phone, right? I don't even have a new iPhone. I got an old iPhone with the buttons still, right? The smaller standard iPhone from years ago, right? And mine still has 4K. It'll automatically, without me changing anything, at least shoot in 720. And then it lets me shoot in HD and even go up to 4K. And I have an old iPhone. So what are the chances that all the footage that we're getting is super low quality? And Brian doesn't mention that. So automatically, I'm going to mention low quality footage much? What are we even looking at? What was this filmed on? In a day and age where everything should be super crystal clear and there's really no reason why footage should be that blurry unless you're trying to dupe a bunch of sheeple and not show very much detail on purpose. That'd be the only reason, right? The only reason to have footage that shitty is if you're trying to dupe sheeple and not show any fucking details. Right? RY says, thanks for opening up my eyes about Brian. Oh, dude, we're just getting started. I'm going to drag Brian through the fucking coals tonight. But it's going to be his own undoing. He's totally going to tell you, coming up, I don't want to spoil it, he's going to tell you that the cops killed that dude. That's what he's going to tell you. All right. Thank you very much, RY, for the multiple super chats tonight, buddy. Glad I could open your eyes. So Brian doesn't put 2 and 2 together with the whistles. That's another thing, you guys. The whistles.
Turn the snow. And
Brian doesn't go, oh, wait a minute. Where's all this whistling coming from? All this whistling, it like the same loudness repeating over and over and over and over and over. Meanwhile, like you don't see like a crowd in every direction, like whistling, right? So the whistling effect has been added in. So the fact that Brian isn't pointing out like, hey, wait a minute, this is such bad quality and they added whistling in post-production. How are we going to trust what we're seeing if they're adding whistling effect in to agitate the viewer? So we went over this in my last stream that they're purposely adding in constant whistling to agitate the viewer, make you pick a side while being distressed by what you're watching, and to distract you from the fact that this looks like it's filmed on a freaking potato rather than a camera.
As this man right here put up his arms, not in a threatening way, but in a, hey, not do anything to harm you kind of way, this guy just unleashes the bear spray in his face. It looks to me like Pretti is trying to help the woman to her feet.
It looks to me like Pretti is trying to help the woman to her feet. See? You already see whose side he's taken. Oh, the whistles. That's the worst part. And you know what? It's at all these events, and they'll do like a 360 with the camera or with the scene. I don't know. They might be using AI, but there's not people in all directions whistling in every one of these videos. But damn near every one of these videos, constant whistling at the same loudness. All right. Yo Daddy 4 says the ICE events were perfectly timed, with the governor being investigated for the fraud and corruption. This also serves as a massive distraction from the buildup in the Middle East. Definitely PSYOP. Oh, and you're forgetting the big ice storm. Oh my God, the storm of the century buries the East Coast under ice, right? So it just so happens they're like emphasizing that this winter ice storm is going to be like the biggest one ever. You know, because of global warming. You guys, the globe is heating up so much that there's an ice storm bigger than ever. Because, you know, as things heat up, it also gets cold. That's their story, not mine. The Earth is not a globe, of course, and it is not warming. And furthermore, I believe the powers that be, the powers that run this place, have the ability to manipulate the weather and, dare I say, completely control the weather. So when it comes to the biggest ice storm, while ICE is fighting with Minneapolis citizens, supposedly, and then Trump starts talking about Greenland, and then he accidentally calls it Iceland. It's too much. Too much ice, 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 ice. They're giving it away. So yeah, the theme here, they want you thinking about ice, baby.
All right, now let's go over.
Okay, guys. So this is almost exactly like the Renee Good situation, where the moment shots are fired, the camera, whoa, stops filming, right? And so we never get a clear shot of the shot. You have to watch it from like all these different angles and slow it down to try and find the moment he supposedly gets shot. But Brian's going to do it. Brian's going to show us when he gets shot. Supposedly.
This in slow motion right here, because there's a couple things that happen really, really fast. This guy in the gray jacket right here, I don't know if you can see him. You'll be able to see him here in a second as soon as this ICE agent gets out of the way. But as soon as the ICE agent moves to the left, this guy with the gray jacket pulls what looks to be a gun, and it looks like it's coming from the back of Pretti's waistband. Check this out. So there's this little skirmish right here. Now look at this. He's got something in his hand.
So everything's super obscure and low quality, and it can be considered both ways. Well, how do we know that that's not a planted gun, right? We don't know for sure if that came from, you know what I mean? They can make you think like something's going on here that's actually not going on, convince you either way. That's what they're trying to do, trying to split people. This is either a justifiable murder or a non-justifiable killing. And they want you, the viewer, to have to make the decision. Did this man deserve to die? It's on you. Yes or no? They don't want you to say, hey, wait a minute. How do I know this is even real? That's the one conclusion they don't want you to jump to. So that's why they have guys like Brian here to lead you to a conclusion.
Looks like he's holding a gun. Just going to go frame by frame. It doesn't look like a cell phone. That looks like a gun. And it doesn't look like, I mean, it's pretty grainy. There's a lot of compression on this, lack of clarity, but it doesn't look.
Compression. There's a lot of compression on this. Oh, you mean it's purposely shitty, Brian? So Brian doesn't talk about how, you know, everyone's phone has 4K, right? Should easily be better looking than this, but whatever. This is compression. Sounds like damage control.
to me like that agent has his finger on the trigger. So I don't think he fired the first shot. Now let's back this up. And I want to show you Pretti's hands. When Pretti goes down, here's Pretti right here with his hands up. He just got sprayed in the face by the bear spray. When he gets taken down to the ground, now just keep the colors in mind. Pretti's got like a Carhartt type of jacket and lighter colored pants and dark boots, just so we can identify him when they start dogpiling him. So here's Pretti right here. There's his pant leg. Now you can see Pretti's leg right here, dark boots. Here's the bottom of his boot right here with the yellow tag. Now you can see his hand briefly right here. This is Pretti's right hand. And where he was formerly holding a cell phone, it looked like he put the cell phone in his right jacket pocket. So right here, you can see Pretti's right hand, and there's his left hand. So you see left and right hand visible just seconds before the first shot goes off. There's both of Pretti's hands are still on the ground. There they are again. You can clearly see both hands right there. Here's his right hand. There's his left hand. You can see the flesh color. There, you can see it again, separated right there. There's his right hand on top, left hand on the bottom, keeping his body stationary. It looks like they're all on ice.
Just so happens somebody steps right in front of the action. Everything's blurry, right? There's a scuffle. It's almost like they don't want you to be able to focus on any details. They don't want you to be able to make an easy decision here. They want it to be obscure enough and could be misconstrued one way or the other, depending on which side you favor. Wow, just like the Renee Good situation, right? You never get to see the bullets actually hit the person. And it can be considered a murder in cold blood or a justifiable murder, right? And they leave you, the viewer, as the one who gets to make the decision. And then anyone who disagrees with you, you argue and you fight. The one thing they don't want you to do is say, hey, this looks like maybe it might be some scripted bullshit.
Now this woman with the long jacket.
All right, let me read the super chat and then we'll break it down here. Doxological Thinker says, I live in Minnesota and I heard that every kid in MPLS was given a whistle. Meanwhile, I've been close to where all this is supposedly going down, and I have yet to bear a single whistle, or yet to hear a single whistle in real life, or even a single ICE agent. Yeah, man. So they can shoot these scenes in designated areas that they can close off like a closed set, right? Film it, get it done. And then they can re-show this shit over and over on the news. They can clip it up. And then we also have to factor in, AI is pretty damn good. And there's probably AI that they have that can help them edit the footage that they shoot. So they can shoot some real footage and then add on to it, edit it in a manipulative way using AI editing tools and post-production tools. So you guys, we're always watching a TV show when it comes to mainstream shit. Anything mainstream is always going to be government run.
It gets in the way. ICE agent gets in the way. And right before the ICE agent passes in the way, this looks to be Pretti's right hand still.
So it's interesting you say this about that you don't see this going on and you live in Minnesota. So the Renee Good thing, it ran out of steam. I don't think enough people really cared. People were like, whatever, she's just some lesbian. Who cares? So now they had to have a second martyr, and then they're pairing them up, right? So it's like they're trying to manufacture a bunch of outrage, but it didn't quite work with the first one. So now they have to have a second martyr, right? And then tie their names together. Now we get Pretty Good. Like it's the same thing. They both died in the same place by ICE, so therefore their names are now forever linked in this story.
There's Pretty's right hand going up in the air. I don't see anything in that hand. There could be. I just don't see it. Looks like that's his left hand right there. I could be mistaken. Again, you can see his right hand. Now the guy in the gray jacket right here is going to pull away from the pile. Looks like he's got a gun. We're going to find out. We're going to try to find out where that gun came from. If this came from Pretti, where was Pretti holding that gun on his body?
All right, so we're halfway into Brian's video. I want to put it to you guys. Has Brian said, hey, maybe this shit is scripted? I don't know if I believe this. Has he even said anything like that at all? Be honest. So this is a guy who runs a truth channel, and he's totally breaking this down as if this is an authentic event. And he's going frame by frame and creating this narrative. And he hasn't even suggested maybe this ain't real. I mean, so what does that tell you? So if there's anybody, you know, who's like a crossover sub on my channel and one of Brian's channels, and he's got 3 channels, just pointing it out that here he is pushing this story like it's real. Is this a guy you want to trust? The right and the left are both wings of the same dirty bird. Now let's watch Alex Pretti get tragically shot by these dirty ICE officers. Right? So, not all truth channels are part of the same community. And that's why I call people out who I think are shills. It's something I've always done. If I think someone's a shill and they're purposely not telling the truth, purposely leading their audience down the wrong path, I say something. I'm one of the only people who does that. And because I do that, there's channels who will slander me in return and say, Jake's the agent. Jake's trying to keep you from waking up. Yeah.
And I want to show you in relation to what happened right here, where the shots ring out. Listen. Boom, that's shot number 1. Now you can clearly see that shot number 1 rang out. If this is Pretty's gun, Pretti is not in possession of his gun when that initial shot rings out. Because
what are the chances that the shot is obscured and you can't actually see anyone being shot? What are the chances? Just like the Renee Good story, you never actually see anyone get shot.
The guy with the gray jacket already has it. Boom, right there. Pretty's gun is right here. If indeed that's Pretty's gun. 1, 2, 3, 3 more shots. So you got a total of 4 shots fired in this first video right here. Watch. 1, 2, 3.
And it just so happens the person who's filming always jerks the camera away. So it's like they got a camera that's only capable of shooting in like fucking 144p or some shit. They have a potato for a camera, and they're gonna make sure that they capture this footage. But once the shots ring out, oh, they're so scared that they have to jerk their potato camera away. Right? Just think about it.
3, 4. Okay, now let's go to the second video. There's Pretti right here on the left-hand side of your screen, circled in red.
I love this super chat right here. It says, high impact shill. Hey, I'm not trying to make you think he's a shill for no good reason. I'm not like a Brian hater for no good reason. It's like the guy pisses me off because he's clearly leading his audience down the path that the evil ICE agents killed Alex Pretti. Right? And he's done this many times. So you got high impact shill posing as a truther.
Now you can see that Pretti has what looks to be a cell phone in his hand right there, which is consistent with this photo right here. That looks like a cell phone.
Go.
There's Pretti in the red circle.
I mean, guys, look at this. Like, look at the background, how blurry it is. Like, what camera would anybody buy that's that bad and then use? You know what I'm saying? Like, if I have an old ass iPhone and it can shoot in 4K, right? then why is somebody even walking around with a camera this bad? All right, I had a member here give out some free memberships, gift some free memberships. JP Crucino gifted 10 Jake the Awake memberships. Awesome. Giving the gift of Jake the Awake. I appreciate that, JP Crucino. You're doing God's work, sir.
What the fuck is wrong with you?
All right, so the ICE agent, look at this, pushes. That looks like the initiation of aggression to me. Pushes her in the snow. Pretti looks like he's got a problem with it. Holds his hands up. Bear spray in the face right there. The ICE agent continues to spray him as Pretti tries to turn his face away. Now, you know Pretti is probably having trouble breathing right here. His eyes are probably closed because he's trying to clear that stuff out of his eyes.
Brian knows for sure that it's legitimate bear spray, and he's describing how uncomfortable the bear spray is. Ah, what a fucking fed. All right, First Amendment says, can you change the light to red for all of the blood that was in the video? Yes, in honor of all the bloodshed, I changed it to red just for you, bro. Thank you for the super chat. Glad you could make it out tonight, brother.
And the ICE agent just continues to spray. As it appears to me, Pretti's trying to help this lady up, or this female up, off of the ice or out of the snow.
There he repeats that shit about Pretti helping a female. That's how you know he's a good guy.
And kind of tripping over her in the process. Now they're trying to pull Pretti off of this woman. Looks like he's trying to help her up. Pretti's still got his left hand on her.
The fuck, people. The fuck
Now Pretti is down on the ground.
is wrong with you? Honestly.
And here's Pretti's head right here. And you'll see one of these ICE agents takes his canister of mace and tries to hit Pretti a couple times in the head. Now here's the guy with the gray jacket right here.
See, this event is purposely made so that it's hard to pay attention to, and you can't figure out who's got a weapon and who doesn't. You can't figure out like who's an ICE agent and who's not, right? So, and it's purposely made that way. And then they have shills like Brian and a shitload of other shills I'm going to show you, even way more mainstream than Brian. They have all these shill channels breaking down the footage in slow motion and telling you what you see. They're creating the narrative for what they want you to think that you see. So they just so happen to have all these channels decide to do a slow-mo breakdown. Not just Brian, but now all these different YouTube channels are doing slow-mo breakdowns. It's almost like these YouTube channels get hired to push the narrative that it's a justifiable killing and the agents are heroes, or it's an unjustifiable killing and the agents should be punished. I'm going to show you an example of both. YouTubers saying that the agents are justified and YouTubers claiming that it's unjustified. In fact, Brian's one of the ones claiming it's unjustified.
And it looks to me, this looks like Pretti in a crouched position as he's on his knees on the ice. We've already seen his hands are kind of in this position right here, facing away from these officers. And it looks like when the guy with the gray jacket sees Pretti's gun, which looks like it's in the back, in the small of Pretti's back in the waistband, the right hand of this agent with the gray jacket looks to pull what looks like a gun from Pretty's waistband. And then this agent right here immediately grabs his firearm with his right hand. Look at this. Now he's pulling it out. Now he's got his firearm out as the guy with the gray jacket pulls Pretty's gun, or what looks like Pretty's gun, and walks away. First shot right there. Now we'll count the shots, but let's go over this in slow motion. Just frame by frame.
All right. So I think I forgot to read this. I put it up on screen, but I think I just totally blanked out and didn't even read it. RY says, in the past, Brian has put out some good info, but it's just enough to get people to trust him so he can misdirect them in other ways, like in this video. So I busted Brian's ass last month when he was like, look at Erica Kirk's crazy eyes. Erica Kirk has crazy weirdo eyes. I think she must be hiding something because she's got crazy eyes, right? Leading us down that fucking Erica Kirk must have had something to do with killing her husband theory because she has crazy eyeballs, right? So yeah, I busted Brian for pulling that shit last month. And now here he is breaking this down frame by frame like it's a totally legitimate event. So basically, I'm showing an example of what this guy's talking about. He starts the video by saying, I'm not a libtard, and I'm not a Republican either. In fact, the right versus the left is a controlled paradigm. And I don't think that you should vote. I think voting is stupid. Now, let's go ahead and break down this tragic murder of Alex Pretti, who was trying to help up a female when she fell down. Clearly, he was bear sprayed, and his eyes must be really intensely hurting right now with severe pain from that bear spray, right? Fucking Brian.
Now, it looks like the guy with the gray jacket is trying to pull this gun out of Pretty's waistband. See, you see Pretty's waistband right there? This guy immediately, he dislodges the weapon. It's in this man's right hand, or what looks to be a weapon. This guy's already got his firearm pulled, which I think this agent right here is the guy who fired the initial shot. Here's shot number one.
Okay, we don't see that one at all, Brian. This is one I keep seeing all these channels break down, and they say, here's shot number one. It's literally being blocked by this dude right here. Watch.
This agent right here is the guy who fired the initial shot. Here's shot number one.
We don't see anything at all because this body is in the way and the quality is dog shit. But here's Brian. Here's the first shot, and you can clearly see the recoil, right? Nate asking if I'm going to do a members only stream soon. I need to. Football season is coming to an end, and so I'm going to be doing more members only stuff and all sorts of different conspiracy content and new content. I'm going to try some new shit. So football season's almost over, and then I'm going to try and get the algorithm to do something else with me. So when football season ends and I start putting out other content is when the views go down, and that's when the hardcore subscribers come out and support the channel, the ones who care about the conspiracy content and the live streams more so than the football content. So once the NFL season ends, I'm going to be focusing on putting out, different types of content and doing different shit with the channel like I do every year. You never know what you're going to get out of me. And yes, members only streams. I need to do one soon. So thank you for reminding me about doing a members only stream. I'll try and plan one for maybe within the next week or two. And I'll let everyone know. All right. And Decran says, we have 580 watching, only 28 likes. Am I seeing this right? Refresh the page. Sometimes if you refresh the page, then it'll show the up to the minute amount of likes, or up to the second, how many people like it. All right.
2, 3, 4.
Wow. Did you guys notice how the camera immediately started filming the snow? So everybody who was filming all immediately jerked the camera away on the second burst of shots.
Initial shot. Here's shot number 1. 2, 3, 4. 5. 6, 7. 8, 9. Let's count the shots again. 1, 2, 3, 4. 5. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, maybe 10 shots. But look, they are firing their weapons while Pretti is laying on the ground. Now let me show you this third angle. This third angle looks to be coming from inside of one of these shops, possibly from the angle from this shop right here with the black awning.
They're doing too much, man, and they keep pushing people, you know?
You can see Pretti's hands really clearly right there. Okay, did you see that? Now watch this guy. He's already swung once with his canister. Look, that's that first swing. Swing in the head. Swing in the head again with the can. It looks like it's going after Pretti's head. Swing again. That's the third time with the canister. Now here's the guy with the gray jacket. Look, it looks like he's got the gun in his hands. Here is the agent right here that pulls his firearm, after which you hear the shot. Here we go.
Oh, shit. What the fuck?
And you can see his boots right here. He is laying face up.
Yeah, another obscure angle.
Oh, shit. What the fuck?
And you can see his boots right here. He is laying face up on the ground as they continue to fire. And it looks like this agent right here grabs a firearm. And it looks like he got it from the small. Look, I'm thinking this is this agent's hand in the small of Pretti's back. Right there. Did you see it? He's got it. That's a black glove. Let's see if we can expand this a little bit. Maybe too much.
All right, so this video's almost over, and he's yet to say, I don't know if I trust this footage, or something's weird about this. Maybe what we're seeing here isn't completely genuine, right? He doesn't even consider any of that a possibility.
Here's the gray jacket. Here's the shadowing on the gray jacket. It looks like a black gloved hand. That looks like it's the small of Pretti's back right there.
How can you trust the guy who's doing what he's doing right now? Personally, I think that if you watch a guy like Brian, now you have to ask yourself why. Do you really want to watch a police officer pretend to be a truther? Check it out, y'all. Can a police officer pretend to be a drug dealer? Yeah, they do. Police officers pretend to be drug dealers. And they even go as far as to sell real drugs to people so that they can then bust them. And they'll be like, yeah, you sold drugs to a undercover police officer who posed as a drug dealer. You know what else cops like to do? They like to pretend to be prostitutes. A cop lady can pretend to be a prostitute so that men solicit sex from the cop lady pretending to be a prostitute, and then they can show up and arrest the person for soliciting sex, right? So they essentially will set traps to catch supposed criminals, right? So if they do that, What's to stop them from, creating a rock and roll band where cops play instruments and sing rock and roll, and then they sell the youth music and records, and they control the sale of drugs through the rock and roll scene, right? Hey, what's to stop police from what else was I going to go with that? Oh yeah, from being truthers. What's to stop the police from being truthers? Right? They control the flow of information. What's to stop agents from infiltrating every sector of entertainment? Right? So if a policeman can pretend to be a drug dealer or a prostitute or a musician, well, they can pretend to be a truther as well. So, do you really want to get your truth from a policeman? Do you want to listen to a rock and roll band that's nothing but government agents? Do you want to buy your drugs from a undercover officer? Do you want to solicit your sex from a cop lady?
And he's got the gun already in his hand, or what appears to be a gun. Yep, look at this. You can see it through the windshield of the car right here, kind of glistening in the sun. That looks like a gun, and if that's Pretti's gun, the first shot was fired while he was disarmed, and it is not illegal to carry a firearm. It's not illegal. It's not only not illegal to keep and bear arms, you have the right to keep and bear arms. Some of the founders would.
All right, so check it out. The story is that he had a legal firearm and he was carrying it legally, but there were agents around there, and when they were tussling, the argument is that a cop's life was in danger because he reaches supposedly for a holster of one of the agents, and then they put the viewer on the spot. Well, do you think that he was justified in him being killed? And so they put you in the spot where, like, well, he shouldn't have had a gun. Yeah, guns are legal, but he shouldn't have been there with a gun. So they have this gun argument in there. Like, yeah, guns are legal, but he's an idiot and he's stupid for going there with a gun, right? So that's just another way to rope people into this argument and divide them. Like, should he have had the gun? Should he have not had the gun? If you think he should have had the gun, either way, you're still going with the story, right? Whereas the third option, how do we even know any of this shit is real? Right? That's always the option they don't want you to pick. So they have all these different things for you to argue about and cling on to. Well, he shouldn't have had that gun. I saw on the replay, he reached for one of the ICE officers' holster. It's like, you saw in that grainy, shitty footage where you can't really hardly tell anything that's going on. You saw Alex Pretti reach for someone's holster. And so you feel that the ICE agents are justified. They'll be like, yep. People are convinced just by what they're seeing here that there's a justifiable murder in many cases. All right. Now let's go to Brian's next video. He breaks down more footage on his other channel, his high impact channel. And it's got some better footage, some other footage. And he does the exact same thing, except worse. All right. Oh yeah. And it also has Alex Jones in the video, which is going to be fun for me. All right, here we go.
Now, you may be sitting there like the rest of us asking what in the hell is going on. the man who once ended nearly every one of his broadcasts and began a lot of his broadcasts with the words, "If you can hear the sound of my voice, you are the resistance." And now that same guy that a lot of people got their news from and still get their news from, it's a guy who incessantly exposed the globalist agenda, who told us to be on the lookout for and resist the coming police authoritarian state and the installation of the surveillance and control grid. That same guy, you know who I'm talking about, Alex Jones, who claimed the answer to George Orwell's 1984 is 1776, is now promoting the globalist agenda, approving of the police state, feverishly licking government boots and applauding the standing armies he once warned us about, as he uses all of his broadcasts to push through this new technocratic state. Let me show you what I'm talking about on this recent.
Holy shit. Did you guys hear all the words that just came out of Brian's mouth? Right? That's how he tricks you into thinking that he's a truther, when he spews all that shit. Hey, you know what I didn't hear him say? Alex Jones has been replaced by some other new actor. Yeah, he didn't say that. And you won't hear him say that. All right. RY says, Jake, I feel a comedic Brian request brewing up in my head, but I am going to wait until later. Ha ha ha. Your impression is spot on. Well, we're here busting Brian's balls right now, so why not right now? The right versus left paradigm is a government-constructed control mechanism, and they're looking to further their surveillance state over humanity. And if you're voting, then you're basically voting for your own enslavement, because the wings of the right and the left are both wings of the same dirty bird. Now, we're going to look at an unjustifiable murder by these pigs out in the streets who gunned down a man in cold blood. And I'm going to break it down for you, frame by frame. And you know you can trust me, because I don't like to vote. I'm Brian. Strap in. We're about to watch a man get murdered. There you go. There's some Brian for you. He used to sell this powder called like collagen powder or something. Get the 5 types of collagen that you need to thrive and be healthy in your body. It was like some lab-made shit that he considered a health food. I don't know if he still sells it, but he used to. Back when he had like long hair, looked like a pro wrestler.
Post from Alex Jones. He says, breaking, exclusive, see video analysis proof that the latest ICE shooting of the armed agitator Alex Pretti in Minnesota was 100% justified. And he has the gall to say Alex Pretti is seen reaching for his holster and slowed down footage, total lie, before the first shot is fired.
Check it out, y'all. They have Alex Jones taking the side of the ICE agents. And then Brian's here refuting and taking the side of Alex Pretti. Shows you both these guys are in a scripted paradigm feud here. Brian going to take the side of the citizens, and Alex Jones going to take the side of the ICE agents. Meanwhile, neither one of them is going to tell you, hey, maybe this shit is scripted. Gee, where's the only place you're going to hear someone break this down and say, hey, maybe this might be scripted? As in, for sure, it is. Where else are you going to hear this? Right? This is the Real Outlaw Podcast, where I give you the basic truth that you deserve to hear, and you already know. Let's face it, how many of you guys thought that this Alex Pretti thing or this Renee Nicole Good thing was legit, right? Most of you guys already know something definitely was not right about both these events. And you really didn't need me to tell you what I've already told you, but this is the only place you can hear it. And there's some people out there who do think these events are legit, and sometimes they need a guy like me to help them see through the bullshit. So I know there's still some people out there who I can help wake up to all this shit being scripted and controlled. So that's why I do this. to help wake people up on a Wake 'em Up Wednesday.
Clearing the brave, heroic agents from any wrongdoing. The brave, heroic Gestapo agents. And I don't care if you're Democrat, I don't care if you're Republican. We know that both parties, the uniparty system, it's made up of two wings of the same bird of prey. And that vulture is constantly circling around, looking to see who else's freedoms they can take and how much wealth they can extract from the American tax cattle. So don't give me this, Brian, you're a libtard. You don't want a police state. I don't want a police state. I don't want it in the Democrat form, and I don't want it in the Republican form. If you want the red boot of tyranny on everybody else's neck, you better get ready for the blue boot of tyranny on your neck, and vice versa. You guys are calling for statism. You're
Brian, shut up and show the footage, you shillbag.
himself on this ice-filled Minnesota street as he's being dogpiled by 4 or 5 other state agents. Let's watch this. Here's the agent's hand. That's Pretti's gun right here. When this guy removes the gun from Pretti's holster that Alex Pretti isn't grabbing for, contrary to what Alex Jones says, he says that Alex Pretti is seen reaching for his holster and slow down. No, he's not. It's just a lie. Alex Jones is basically telling you, don't believe what your eyes are seeing here. Don't believe what the video is showing you. This guy, as this guy removes the gun from Alex Pretti's holster, this guy right here reaches for his gun in his holster and ends up shooting Pretti in the back twice, not as a self-defense move, but as an act of cowardice. Let's take a look at this.
All right, guys. So now we finally see what looks like a gun. It's a thing shaped like a gun. We can't see any detail, but it is something shaped like a gun. But watch. The moment where the supposed first shot's fired, this agent right here completely blocks the whole thing. So we don't get to see any of it. But Brian's not going to mention that. He's going to tell us that that's the first shot.
The first shot is here.
Is that what it sounds like? Is that what it looks like? This guy's just conveniently blocking the first shot.
And the second shot is right here. And you can see the second shot recoil.
So this is the only one where we can possibly see someone get shot. And I want to point out this thing kind of looks like a gun, but it also looks really weird. I mean, does this look weird to you guys? There's something about the shape of this gun and the lack of detail. And then when it's supposedly fired, we don't see the body instantly react. We don't see any sort of fire coming out of the gun.
Boom, right there. Alex Pretti goes down. He's probably paralyzed from the first or second or both shots.
So what are we looking at, right?
Here, and you can see the second shot recoil. Boom, right there. Alex Pretti goes down. He's probably paralyzed from the first or second or both shots.
So Brian's going to assume that the guy's probably paralyzed. Good assumption, Brian. He's probably paralyzed. RY says, Jake, I remember you once made a video making fun of Brian. If you want to look hot like me and get better gas mileage, buy my supplements. Joe Biden is making the gas prices go up exponentially, but you can fight back by ordering some of my lab-made collagen powder, which will make you sexy and buff like me. Yeah, Brian used to have long hair and he used to kind of have more of like I'm a cool surfer dude who likes to work out a lot, and I'm a truther, bro. So you should listen to me. He kind of had this like different attitude, and now he's like it's like now he's a lot more vanilla. He seems more like a cop now, more buttoned up and cop like. Anyone who used to watch Brian, you know what I'm talking about. All right. So again, What do you guys think? Does this look like someone being executed here to you guys?
Right here, and you can see the second shot recoil. Boom, right there. Alex Pretti goes down. He's probably paralyzed from the first or second or both shots. He goes right immediately down to the ground. Alex Pretti is reaching for his back, not for his gun. He just got shot in the back after his gun was removed. Whatever. Let's say he was trying to reach for his gun. The gun's not there. The gun is in the hand of the gray jacketed state agent. Here's another angle right here. Here's the agent with the gun. You can actually see the gun through the windshield of this vehicle right here. They say that it's a Sig Sauer P320. Walking away.
D-Cran says, Brian's hat says free press matters. That's a sign he is a shill. Another one is if you see someone wearing the tinfoil hat, the words tinfoil on their hat, that's another sign of a shill. I've seen Dave Weiss wear the tinfoil hat. So that's another one I've noticed. In Nathan Thompson, some shills out of the controlled flat earth movement. So yeah, there's different brands in clothing apparel that they wear that totally will give you the signal that they're a shill for sure. Good eye, bro. Thanks for pointing that out.
Of course, Alex Jones is. Let's listen to what Alex Jones says here.
I want to be 100% clear. With all the pressure ICE is under and all of the violence and agitation against them, I'm surprised there hasn't been bigger mistakes or violence yet. And if I see any real evidence of ICE doing something wrong, I will call it out.
So it's not.
If I see ICE doing anything wrong, I'm going to call the cops on them. This is new Alex Jones with my new voice, and I will call the cops on ICE. I think ICE is totally justified in killing that insignificant scumbag Alex Pretti, who was trying to grab the heroes' holsters. Folks, ICE agents are modern day heroes. And if you do something stupid like try and grab their holster, you're going to fuck around and find out. I completely support my heroes at ICE.
Not enough for DHS agents, federal agents, to kill a disarmed man in cold blood in an American city street.
Yeah, listen to Brian.
They killed an unarmed man in cold blood. But Alex Jones, this CIA asset, here he is rallying behind his bootlicking ICE masters.
All right. Fartree7 says, thanks for the news, Jake. Hey, you're welcome. This is the only place that does news breakdowns and does comedy and truth and music and wraps it all up into an original unscripted podcast. This is the only thing like this that exists, man. It's the only thing like this that will ever exist, man. This can't be duplicated or replicated. RY says, new Alex Jones is wearing a mask. Look at the eyes. Yeah, I've been pointing it out for a while now. In fact, I even have this little picture here that I like to show people. See here? See here? You got Bill Hicks on the left. And then you got old Alex Jones on the right. And then you got this new guy in the middle. This new guy, he's got light greenish blue eyes. Bill Hicks definitely didn't have light greenish blue eyes. So you got to ask yourself, who is this new Alex Jones? My only guess is possibly Will Sasso combined with a hyper-realistic mask and some AI editing. Some post-production editing combined with Hollywood style effects. I don't know. I can't quite put my finger on it, but something ain't right. What I do know is I'm at the forefront of this subject. I'm like one of the only ones calling it out and making content about it. All right. So thank you, RY, for the super chats tonight, bro. Fist bumps to you, sir.
He's not going to call that. But I'll tell you what, if I do see terrorism, if I do see authoritarianism, if I see any form of fascism or any form of injustice, I'll be sure to call it out. And this plays out before his very eyes, and he looks the other way. And then he reviews the video and tells you that you can't believe what your eyes are seeing.
This Alex Pretti who died during the huge demonstrations in Minneapolis, Minnesota today, if you watch different angles of the camera, they are tackling him. They're on top of him.
Yeah, they're attacking him. They drew first blood. When somebody attacks you, you have the right in America to defend yourself no matter who attacked you, no matter what kind of clothing they wear. Even if they decide to wear funny costumes like, I don't know, DHS costumes, especially if 4 armed men are trying to dogpile you when you've done nothing wrong after you got bear sprayed for doing nothing wrong. You got the right to defend yourself, don't you?
They took a gun off of him later, handgun, but you see...
Took a gun off him later? They took a gun off him right then. And they had no right to do that.
When the gun goes off, it's not clear what happened, but you see the ICE officers jump and run back, and then they pull their guns and start shooting him. So did he use his gun? Did he go for somebody else's gun? Did a gun go off? We don't know. I've been trying to analyze the video. We'll show it slow down here.
We don't know. You just said you knew. Alex Jones is right. Look at this. Let me just hover over this just so you can see. This is from official Alex Jones account.
All right. So clear as day, Alex Jones is taking the side of ICE, and Brian is arguing that Alex Pretti was killed in cold blood. Neither one of these shills gonna tell you the truth that, hey, maybe this shit wasn't real, man. Some very basic truth. Hey, maybe this shit is scripted, man. But no, you won't get that from these guys. You get the opposite of that.
Got 4.4 million subscribers or followers. Says Alex Pretti is seen reaching for his holster in slowed down footage. He's calling this right here, this act of terrorism, this act of execution in an American street. He's calling it 100% justified. But now he's saying, we don't know.
But ICE doesn't want to kill people, and that prosecutor's trying to put them in jail.
They don't want to kill people, but they're killing people. Wow. Imagine if they wanted to kill people, how many people they could knock off.
They don't want to have a woman try to run over the car and have this happen. And we have the Democrats with the DESTA plan that I've harped on for a year plus, saying that when they try to send out ICE to their regular duty, they're going to tell the public it's illegal. Same stuff Obama did, Trump did, all of it. That this time they're going to say it's illegal and have an uprising and use people that died, dead protesters, as they told Axios 6 months ago.
Yes, it is hypocrisy for the Democrats to not accept immigration laws and enforcement under Trump, but to be perfectly fine with it under Obama. That's called hypocrisy. That's called inconsistency. That's called statism. So the statists on the left are lunatics. The statists on the right are madmen. What do you expect to happen? And now you've got Alex Jones playing the left versus right paradigm lie, which throws everybody into confusion. It distracts everybody. It deceives everybody. It demoralizes and dehumanizes people to the point where they're like, dumb ways to die.
Oh, God. Speaking of distractions, yeah, Brian right there with the distraction. Oh, shit, there's one more thing on that video I wanted to show. Move along. Almost forgot. There's one part where he talks about him being shot in the spine, and the agent is spineless. I want to show that line real quick. Spine, here it is.
Hands back in the spine. A state action. Okay, right there. They just stole his gun right there. The gun is free. The guy's going to walk away with the gun. Now the man is freshly disarmed, and this state agent steps in to deliver 2 shots to this man's back in the spine.
Which we don't see.
Imagine the irony: a man with no spine shooting an unarmed man in the spine.
There it is. That's the line I wanted you guys to hear. Imagine the irony of a spineless coward ICE agent shooting an unarmed, really pretty man in the spine. How cowardice. So this guy's got 3 different channels, and he even gives himself away. I think on one of them, it's like, here's the deal. Watch, I'll show you. This channel gives it away, in my opinion, what team he's on. So he's got 377,000 subscribers on this channel. And check it out. What do you see here? Police car, SWAT. And his content is about calling out police and trying to get you to fight the police. So here you got what looks like the police creating the anti-police pro-Alex Pretti narrative here. Bystander catches cops slam cuffed man's head on the ground. So Brian is the guy in charge of creating the outrage against cops, but he appears to be like your truther right-winger friend. He's a right-winger. Well, he's not. He says he's not a right-winger or a left-winger, but he's here more to appeal to right-wingers, obviously. So yeah, when I look at Brian's channel art, it screams law enforcement to me. I don't know. What do you guys think? Am I wrong in thinking that Brian's a shill? Is there anyone here that still is in the camp that thinks Brian is a good guy who just got this event wrong? He just accidentally thought that this whole thing was real. What do you guys think? Rose says no. Kevin says controlled opposition, Jake. Holden says Jake is correct. Brian sucks donkey dicks. Beware the locust says gay shill for sure. Loose Sapphire says I've called him a shill for years. Dwayne says Brian is difficulty a grifter. I think he meant to say definitely, and autocorrect put the wrong word in there. Brian is definitely a grifter. All right. Alex calls him a fraud. We got somebody promoting a scammer. Zach Hubbard is a scammer. Gematria Effect News, Gematria Effect Sports, whatever you want to call him. He's a longtime scammer. He provably gives out mostly losing picks. So if you track his picks on the Sports Gematria channel, then you will see he mostly gives out losing picks, and it's mostly just riddles. And so he's been doing that for years. He owns several properties, and guy's a total scammer. But here you are, here bringing him up in my chat. Interesting. All right. So I'm going to show you some other examples of people leading you to conclusions as far as this pretty good operation is concerned. There's way too many YouTube channels doing the same slow motion breakdown. So like this one right here, this guy says, "Don't believe the government. This was murder." This guy's got 474,000 subscribers. Got over 400,000 views on this video. Don't believe the government. This was murder. See what I'm saying? There's only two conclusions that they want you to draw from this. Both of them involve murder. So they want you to decide whether it's justifiable or not. Did this person deserve to die or not? And then they lead you to a conclusion.
ICE officers operating in Minneapolis have shot and killed a U.S. citizen. And while that alone is disturbing, the video footage of the shooting is irrefutably cold-blooded murder. And what's even more, another insane layer to this, is the White House's reaction. Now, before you tune off and go, oh, this is some liberal lunatic, you may notice, for those of you that are new to the channel, behind me are a large number of military awards. That's because I served in Afghanistan as a platoon leader of a military police platoon. So believe it or not, I have a unique background in both.
Yeah, you were part of the fucking military. Yeah, if you're former military, then I have to assume that you might still have a contract with the military, aka the government. So this guy, admittedly, was military. I'm not saying everybody who is in the military is permanently working for the military and an agent, but there are plenty of guys who can claim that they used to work for the government or military, but still be under contract with them and still be doing a job, such as this guy.
Both law enforcement and even combat operations with real-world experience to back it up. I also have 7 years in the Department of Homeland Security's Inspector General's office doing essentially internal affairs investigations. So I actually know what I'm talking about. And seeing this stuff, it is deeply disturbing to me. So let me break down the fundamental problems I have with this shooting, and then we're going to...
Like I said, guys, it's almost like all these channels got a memo to make a slow motion breakdown of the shooting and give you their opinion on whether it's justified murder or non-justified murder. RY says, I typed in Alex Jones InfoWars and Brian Young into my numerology calculator app on my phone just now. All three of these equal 33. Bum, bum, bum. Hey, even if you throw out stuff like that, just their actions alone will tell you what team they're on and that they're a shill. Just listen to what they say, who they promote, where they're trying to lead you, what they're trying to lead you into thinking, how they're trying to control your thought process and get you to believe in something that maybe didn't happen at all. Then you can see that they're shills without having any sort of symbolism or anything. So I'm not the type that's like, oh, this guy's name is 33 and he made a hand sign, so therefore automatically a shill. But I do point that stuff out if they are making it obvious. So if I see one of these guys start throwing around a 666 hand sign, or he's got a 33 on his shirt, of course I'm going to point it out. But I don't need that stuff to point out that these guys are liars or shills. Like with Brian tonight, I didn't go out of my way to like find any hand sign or symbolism. I was just showing you Brian leading you down the path that the whole thing is real. So the symbolism stuff in the background or whatever you might see in a video, that'll help identify that you're dealing with a shill, but it isn't necessary.
Compare the video that we see to what the administration claims has happened. And we're going to see if we can do so and keep our sanity. So let's break this down. Again, the video is becoming increasingly hard to find unedited, but we're going to do a couple of things. So let's start with this one. This is probably one of the earliest segments of the confrontation that I can find. It's filmed from a passing car. The person shot Alex Pretti. And I'm deliberately choosing words so that you are less likely to be biased. This is something that a relatively impartial...
Oh, sure, buddy. Your title is Don't Believe the Government. This was murder. but you're not trying to be biased. I can tell what stance you're going to take by your fucking title. So we already know what stance he's going to take because he's saying, don't believe the government. It was murder. Now I'm going to show you an example of the opposite, of a bootlicker talking about how everything is completely justified. And there's no shortage of YouTubers doing this right now. And they're picking one of two lanes, justified or non-justified murder. Those are your two options. Where's he at? Here it is. Now we'll compare that last title to this guy's title. And you can clearly see, without even me hitting play, what this guy's going to tell us. Before we even watch, we already know this guy's stance. ICE agents justified in shooting armed protester Alex Pretti. Slow motion video clearly shows it. So this guy doesn't have that many subs, but he got 278,000 views. That's a pretty good chunk of views for a channel with only 47,000 subs. But he's picking a side, and he's taking the side that the ICE agents are justified. So he tells us which side he's on before we even hit play.
All right, we have what appears to be another justified shooting by ICE, or this time Border Patrol agents in Minnesota.
And then he says it. The first thing he says, we have another justified shooting. So if you're somebody who needs to hear that this was justified, they have this content ready for you. And there's plenty of right-wingers who are like, I stand with ICE. They done fucked around and found out. They played stupid games. They won stupid prizes. They want to hear somebody like this tell them how justified the ICE agents are. So that's why this content exists.
This time it was this guy, Alex Pretti. He is the one that decided to bring a gun with him and continue to engage with ICE officers or with Border Patrol agents during this observing that he says he was doing. Now, regardless of, this guy is there to obstruct. That's his purpose. That's his reason. Now, he's armed. Obviously, he has a weapon on him. Here are the videos that I believe show why I believe this is a justified shooting, and you've seen all of them, I'm sure, but if you the slow motion video here, there's multiple things that we can see. In the video, we see this guy grabbing something with his left hand. He looks like he's reaching into his waistband. He clearly looks like he's reaching with his left hand.
How in the fuck can you make that determination when you're staring at a bunch of blurry shit? Come on, y'all. They're making us stare at blurry, out of focus shit. And then they're like, you can see his left hand clutching the holster of the ICE agent. So therefore, murder is justifiable. Meanwhile, I'm like, okay, I see like a black shadowy thing and some more dark splotches, some pixelized shit. Like, right? Just so happens that the footage is basically unrecognizable, and so they need these shills to tell you what you're seeing. They need to break it down in slow motion and feed you what you think you're seeing so that they can control what you think you saw.
Into his waistband. There is something in his right hand. I don't know what that is. It's not clear enough to see. We also have the man in gray, the law enforcement guy in gray, appears to pull a gun from Alex Pretti while he's on the ground. He pulls a gun out of his, apparently from behind him, like where his behind is. He pulls this gun. He doesn't have the gun when he reaches in. He has the gun when he comes out.
This guy doesn't have the same story as Brian. It's almost like they saw two completely different events, right? So this guy's saying the opposite of Brian, but they both watched the same footage. How can they come to polar opposite conclusions here if they both watched the same footage?
While this is all happening, you hear clearly in the video somebody yelling, gun, gun, gun. Now, is that in reference to the gun that the guy pulled out? Did they see another gun? So I don't know. Now, in this moment, everything happens in 2 seconds. Now, we can clearly look back and analyze all this. We have the liberty and the privilege of slow motion replay and second guessing. These guys, these fathers, brothers, and sons.
We have the liberty and the privilege of slow motion replay.
Have just split seconds to react.
And look who he has behind him. Charlie. And various other characters. But this right here, right?
Okay, so all of this happens at the same time. Guy pulls the gun out of his waistband. The suspect reaches with his left hand, has something in his right hand, and someone's yelling, gun, gun, gun. Okay? They have no idea if this guy has a second pistol on him. Even if they didn't see the guy pull the gun out, they don't know if he's got another gun. There's too many things happening at one time here. I believe that it's completely justified for them to shoot this guy. Now, it's sad. I'm here. I believe that it's completely justified for them to shoot this guy. Now,
there you go. That's what it comes down to. That's what it comes down to. Is it justifiable or is it not? All right. So I was kind of blown away by, like, the more I scrolled, the more YouTubers I found doing the exact same thing, doing a slow motion breakdown and telling us what we see. Suddenly everybody likes to do what I like to do and investigate the scene and slow it down and watch replays. Suddenly everyone's doing an investigation, but they're all totally sure it's real. Not one of them comes to the conclusion, maybe this was scripted. All right. Here, I'll show you another example of a guy leading us to conclusions, and he even has the audacity to call his video "The Truth About Alex Pretti Minnesota Shooting." Oh, well, a guy with 3 million subscribers who got 500,000 views in a day. I'm sure we can trust this guy to tell us the truth about the Alex Pretti shooting.
I don't like that he had a gun. I don't like that he had 2 fully loaded magazines. That's a lot of bad stuff. You can't have guns. You can't walk in with guns.
What about the Second Amendment?
You can't walk in with guns. You can't do that.
This looks like a situation where an individual arrived at the scene to inflict maximum damage on individuals and to kill law enforcement.
Individual approached U.S. Border Patrol agents with a 9mm semi-automatic handgun.
Look, let's just be honest and stop the bullshit. This is a pro-ICE versus anti-ICE masquerading as a gun issue. They're using the gun as a proxy to have that fight, and I'm not here for that. I'm a Second Amendment advocate, and that's what I do. That's the lane that I stay in. So I'm going to talk to you about this from a two-way perspective, because that's the part people are lying about, including people on both sides. Now, let me just something that pissed me off recently about this whole situation. The immediate reaction from leadership, including from Trump.
Do you agree with the assessment from...
So they got like Mr. Shill, Second Amendment lover guy, right? Who, come on, just his intro right there just screams plant. And then they're going to show you all the times where Trump talked about wanting to take the guns. So then he can come off like he's on the good guy side. He loves guns. He's a proponent of the Second Amendment. So then he shows clips of Trump talking about taking guns away. Therefore, we can trust the black guy because he doesn't want to take our guns away, right?
Some of your own officials that Alex Pretti is a domestic terrorist or an assassin.
Well, I haven't heard that, but certainly he shouldn't have been carrying a gun. But hey, look, bottom line, everybody in this room, we view that as a very unfortunate incident. Okay, everyone, unless you're a stupid person, very, very unfortunate incident. I don't like that he had a gun. I don't like that he had 2 fully loaded magazines. That's a lot of bad stuff. And despite that, I say that's a very unfortunate.
What do you think of some Republicans saying?
You say that you are the...
Sir, was Mr. Pretti acting as an assassin? Do you think he was acting as an assassin in Minneapolis?
Who's that?
Mr. Pretti, your deputy chief of staff said that. You don't think so?
With that being said, you can't have guns. You can't walk in with guns.
What about the Second Amendment?
You can't walk in with guns. You can't do that. But it's just a very unfortunate incident.
And of course, they have this footage for all the right wingers to wave around like, look, Trump's anti-gun. Oh my God, I never knew that Trump was anti-gun before. Look, you can't come in with guns, all right? He clearly had a gun. We have no idea whether he was trying to take the life of innocent people or not. So if you're going to show up with a gun, you basically, essentially, you're going to fuck around and find out. And clearly, that's what happened. He played a stupid game, and he, quite frankly, won a stupid prize. Next question.
That is anti-gun bullshit. And yes, I'm going to say this plainly and honestly. I'm embarrassed. It's embarrassing. It's embarrassing because I've defended Trump from a two-way perspective. So yeah, hearing that shit is embarrassing. But here's where I refuse to be dishonest. I don't judge politicians solely by what they say. I judge them by what they do. Trump could get on TV tomorrow, rip the Constitution in half, wipe his ass with the Second Amendment, and spit on it and scream F2A at the top of his lungs. I don't care. What matters is, what has he actually done? And action-wise, the Second Amendment has never been more protected than it is right now. That's not an opinion. That's just fact. If not for the judges he appointed, states like New York and California would not even be having conversations about how to comply with concealed carry rulings right now. They'd still be telling you to go F yourself. Gun sales are down, not because people don't like guns, but because people don't feel like their rights are about to be erased overnight like they do when the Democrats are in office. They'll say the same shit Trump said and then actively try to pass legislation against the Second Amendment. Interaction? I wouldn't do that shit. But whether some protest, that part is not debatable. Was it smart to bring a gun to a protest where you know tensions are high and federal agents are present and put yourself in the middle of an interaction? I wouldn't do that shit. But whether something is smart and whether something is legal are two completely different conversations, and people keep collapsing them on purpose. Now, let me say this clearly, because this is the core 2A issue. Simply having a firearm on you does not make you a criminal. Simply having 2 magazines does not make you a criminal. It does not mean you're planning a mass shooting. For Christ's sakes, you got people in the gun industry who would literally say, if you don't carry a spare mag, you're doing it wrong. Nothing about his behavior gave me mass shooter vibes. Nothing about his demeanor gave me aggressor. And honestly, the license argument doesn't even matter as much as people think it does. Yes, we know he had a license, but even if we didn't know that in the moment,
all right, so they got this guy here arguing on behalf of your Second Amendment right. But he's not mentioning, hey, maybe the government scripted this event so that they could create legislation to take away our guns. He's not even going to go there, right? So he's still treating this event as if it happened the way they say it happened.
Just watching the video, but annoyance is not illegality. Blowing whistles is actually protected speech under the First Amendment.
See here? So now he's not even smart enough to realize that the whistles have been added in, and he's talking about the whistles as being legit. That's one of the first thing I notice, is that the whistles are like added in post-production. It's a constant same loudness of whistle. And I've watched videos like where there's nobody around whistling, and somehow it's just the entire video. It's like, dude, there's nobody around doing that fucking loud whistle, right? So wanted to show this part where he mentions the whistle.
My perspective, it looked like documentation, not participation. I don't know if he told them to stop. I don't know if he tried to de-escalate verbally. All I can tell you is what it looked like to me from the footage. And yes, those whistles were annoying as hell. They annoyed me just watching the video. But annoyance is not illegality. Blowing whistles is actually protected speech under the First Amendment. At the same time, I also saw the agent pushing one of the women to the ground. Was that legally justified? Was she under arrest? Was he enforcing something specific?
So here's why they're tying the whole like, oh, she was or he was an onlooker, an observer. Same with Renee. They try and make it out like she's just an observer. They want to put fear into the people that if you show up as an observer, that you might lose your life, right? So you may as well just stay away. So they can get anybody who's somebody likes to film police or observe what's going on and hold the police accountable. They can make them think twice by making them think that, you know, they can murder you at any moment if you're just observing what the police do. And then they're bringing up how this guy brought up how the whistling is protected under free speech. So if they're adding the whistling in, then this guy protected under free speech. Clearly, they're trying to erode away at these issues, and so they're making these issues controversial.
I don't know. I'm not going to pretend I know just to make people feel better. Now, the dynamic clearly changed when the guy stepped between the agent and the woman after she went down. Do I think he was trying to be malicious? It looked to me like he was just trying to protect someone who had just fallen. Did that decision introduce risk, especially?
And then he just pushed the same narrative that Brian pushed, that he was trying to protect the lady.
When the guy stepped between the agent and the woman after she went down. Do I think he was trying to be malicious? It looked to me like he was just trying to protect someone who had just fallen. Did that decision introduce risk, especially while he was armed? Yes, absolutely. And here's where the two-way reality kicks in. You have a right to protest. You have a right to carry a firearm, even at a protest. Protests can turn violent. You still have to get back to your car. You still have to go home, all that shit. You're not any more safer at a protest. If I were protesting something, chances are I'd be carrying too, because I can legally do that. But
all right, so I'm going to tell you not to protest, because the protests that they set up that get national attention are controlled and run by them. They don't let real protests get up off the ground and get traction. In fact, they squashed the real protest against Corona when it started to happen. They squashed it by running the George Floyd event and taking the word protest and protesters and showing us images of people with Black Lives Matter signs, talking about how George Floyd's murder was an injustice. Meanwhile, all the talk of protesting Corona completely squashed by that. So they can have a scripted event squash any real protest. So you start having a real protest, they can just script another event and then take the word protest and any talk of protest and aim it in the opposite direction at their event. So when people started flipping out that the government was shutting down their business and whatnot, and communities started having actual protests against lockdowns and Corona laws and shit, well, that's when the George Floyd shit went down. So then any and all talk of protests that you found on TV was George Floyd related and not Corona related. But hardly anyone remembers that. And I attended what seemed like a controlled protest event as far as the Corona shit was concerned. So the government even had control over the Corona protests once they started to get big. I went to an event in the Sacramento area and had some take the stand and say some strange things. And then people like All Gas, No Brakes showed up and whatnot. So once I attended it and then thought about it afterwards, I'm like, yeah, that event was totally controlled. And I was one of the useful idiots who showed up. So I know what it's like to be a useful idiot and show up to a controlled protest and figure it out when I'm there and afterwards. Shit, that was totally set up, right? So I have experience. So I can tell you guys, yeah, any sort of protest that starts to get off the ground, it's going to be infiltrated and controlled. But, you know, we had no idea what was going to happen or what was going on. You know, the pandemic was crazy times. And we might live through some crazy shit like that again one day. I hope not, but it could happen. Oh, yeah, there's one thing I forgot to show with Brian. Let me go back to Brian's video and show. At the very end, Brian talks about somebody possibly killing ICE agents as retaliation. So Brian might be giving us some insight into what might happen in the future. we go back to this video. I think it's at the very end of this video. Brian talks about how some of these protesters might retaliate and kill ICE agents. And he says something like, the next thing you'll probably see are ICE agents being killed by protesters in retaliation, something like that.
That's the plan. That's the Civil War movie. And that's,
which is pretty interesting because when the Republicans were in power 4 or 5 years ago, who was talking about secession? It was Texas talking about seceding from the Union in opposition to the Biden administration. This is second verse, same as the first. And Alex Jones, the Alex Joneses of the world who've sold their souls long ago.
So yeah, local reviewer says, did you see Pretti kick the car light out days before? I just found out about that today. So I was looking at the different angles and then seeing all the channels break it down in slow-mo. And I was trying to decide like which video I wanted to show you guys. And so today was the first I heard about Alex Pretti supposedly kicking out a car light. It's like they add shit to their background after the event to further control the narrative and control how you think about the person.
Continue to foment this nonsense to get you to think it's a team red versus a team blue thing instead of the state versus you thing. Good job, Alex.
now what the police chief, the mayor Fry, the governor are talking about, by saying what ICE is doing is illegal, which it's not in its main actions, it delegitimizes.
All right, got a super chat from FarTree7. Got a thumbs up. Thank you, FarTree. And everybody hit the thumbs up if you're still here watching right now. I got a little bit more left to show you before we wrap it up tonight. So hit the thumbs up button if you're here enjoying the show. Nathaniel Arias says, a bunch of zombie sheep think this crap is real, like sports and 97% of other stuff in the world. There is 2 channels I found for you to make fun of: Heavy Duty Country and the Max. Keep showing the light. Heavy Duty Country and the Max, huh? All right, I'll have to check those guys out. Here, I'll write myself a note so that I can check those out maybe later tonight. Heavy Duty Country. And the Max. Just the Max, huh? All right. Thank you, Nathaniel Arias. I'll check those channels out later tonight. And I got one from RY, says Trump praising and giving Richie from Boston a medal for his organic Bible vape juice line. Brian commentates on it, appearing jealous, and left out that Trump never gave him recognition for his supplement line. Trump praising. So today I want to take a moment of your time to give praise and thanks to a wonderful gentleman who, quite frankly, has invented one of the most wonderful things that has ever been invented in all of humanity. A fella known as Richie from Boston has invented a new vaping cartridge, but this is not a typical vaping cartridge like you may have seen in stores. This one actually cures people of Chinese nano AIDS from China. As you may or may not know, the Chinese nano AIDS have infiltrated the United States, and hardly anyone is even aware that this is even taking place. And there are wonderful gentlemen out there who are fighting back against China and their diabolical nano AIDS. So I want to welcome Richie from Boston, who sells 100% organic Bible vape juice cartridges. Richie, can you tell the people more about what you do? So, as I've been explaining, I am the inventor of organic Bible vape juice cartridges, and it is the only product which cures Chinese nano AIDS. And you can use my promo code down below, and you can get 40% off. It's way better than high-impact shills, bags of lab-made collagen powder,
In fact, I highly recommend that you never buy any of Brian's products. He sells these lab-made products, which quite frankly are harmful to your health. So definitely do not buy any of Brian's lab-made collagen powders. At any rate, I digress. Hey guys, I just heard that Richie from Boston was being endorsed by bootlicker Donald Trump. In fact, this just goes to show you that the right wing and the left wing are both part of the same dirty bird, because clearly Donald Trump is promoting these Chinese nano drone Bible cartridges or whatever they are. And then this guy has the nerve to talk bad about my lab-made collagen powder, which is the finest collagen powder made on earth. Clearly, this shows that these guys are working for the CIA. You can't trust the CIA because they have people attacking me. And I, of course, as you know, am a truther, breaking down the cold blood murder of Alex Pretti.
There you go. Oh, that was hard. It's hard to mix all that shit in there. But I pulled it off just for you.
Them in the eyes of much of the public that are ignorant.
It doesn't matter if it's illegal or not. It's legal murder. I mean, we'll agree it's murder, but it's legalized murder. What ICE is doing is legal, but is it moral? Is there a deeper issue? Are they expanding the police state by doing what they're doing? Are the standing armies acclimating people to this idea where, yeah, we need federal forces on American soil to keep the peace? It's all for peace and safety. I mean, war is peace, freedom is slavery, and ignorance is strength. Right, Alex?
And that creates the schism as the pretext for the Civil War and the secession that's in the plan.
In the book 1984, George Orwell said, the party told you to reject the evidence of your eyes and ears. It was their final, most essential command. And now here you have the Alex Jones of the world, and Alex Jones himself, who once warned us about globalism, promoting globalism, and telling you not to trust your eyes and ears. Thank you for watching. If you like these commentary videos, maybe you like...
Oh, shit. I think it was in the other video that Brian said. Anyway, so Brian in his other video, I guess it wasn't this one. At the end, he says, the next thing you'll probably see are Minnesota citizens killing ICE agents in retaliation. So we might see some foreshadowing here, and that might very well be the next thing that happens is scripted retaliation against the ICE agents. So they can go ahead to say that citizens are so outraged in Minnesota that they are ambushing ICE agents. And then they can get sympathy for the ambushed ICE agents and then make you pick a side. Is it okay to retaliate against these ICE agents who are murdering people in cold blood? Right? So that may very well be the next thing that is scripted to happen, is the Minnesota citizens supposedly retaliating against ICE agents. And Doxological Thinker says, apparently Trump announced today that he is giving every kid a savings account with a free $1,000. Well, you know, they have given out stimulus checks in the past before. And so, you know, with how much they tax the citizens and how much they extract from the citizens, that's a drop in the bucket if they were to give everyone $1,000. Just enough to make the peasants happy for a short amount of time, but not enough to change their life in any significant way. Yes, exactly, Suzette. Non-stop psyops. Like I said earlier in the stream, if they didn't script this shit, it would be a very uneventful world. All the major stories are scripted and manufactured by them. So if they weren't scripting and manufacturing these stories, life would be pretty uneventful and peaceful. So therefore, when you take away the scripted bullshit, life here is pretty uneventful in its natural state. They have to script all this crazy shit, you know, all these mass bang, bang, pow, pow incidents. They have to script all that shit in order to convince us that it's actually happening. R. Weiss is Morgan Freeman talking about ICE incidents. I've been told that people trust me. And if you trust me, then you should trust that Alex Pretti was murdered in cold blood. And I trust the vaccines. So if you trust me and you trust that Alex Pretti was murdered in cold blood, then you should also take the vaccine. Please? Some folks think that I'm a good actor, but if you really think about it, I was always a pretty shitty actor, basically playing the same role with the same voice every damn time you ever saw me on screen. This is Morgan Freeman, and this is how I talk. There you go. Morgan Freeman. Morgan did actually tell people to get jabbed. Those are actually his words. So that's not just a made-up impression. That's verbatim. He did say, if you trust me, you'll take the vaccine. Right? In fact, since we're celebrating 10 years of me doing this on YouTube, maybe I can find that video real quick and show it. All right. Here it is.
I'm Morgan Freeman. I'm not a doctor, but I trust science. And I'm told that for some reason people trust me. So here I am to say, I trust science and I got the vaccine. If you trust me, you'll get the vaccine. Get the vaccine. Help make our world a safe place for us to enjoy ourselves again. Please.
Hi, I'm Jake the Asshole. I don't trust mainstream science, and I'm told people trust me. I'm not a doctor, I'm not an actor, but I can kind of speak like Morgan Freeman. So if you trust me, you should not listen to Morgan Freeman. Let's make the world a happier, safer place, and we can get back to normal if we just turn off our televisions and stop listening to the government and stupid assholes like Morgan Freeman. Please.
Ah, there you go. Good times, huh? Just in case anyone forgot that he said that. I know folks who like Trump like to conveniently forget that he did the same thing that Morgan did and recommended the jab and booster multiple times. But a lot of Trump's dick riders like to forget about that and pretend it never happened. And if you remind them of it, they like to make excuses. Oh, he said you have your own choice. Oh, he didn't make it mandatory. Local reviewer says, where is Simone? I miss her. I haven't seen her in several months. I don't know. Sometimes people show up for a while and then they stop watching or disappear. I don't know. Haven't seen her in a while. Couldn't tell you. All right. All right, so that's pretty much what I wanted to show you guys as far as the Alex Pretti shit. I wanted to show you how YouTubers out there are all doing slow motion breakdowns, forcing you to pick a side. It's justifiable murder or it's non-justifiable murder. Either way, they're leading you to the conclusion that Alex Pretti was killed. Meanwhile, this is like one of the only channels that will, consider that maybe that didn't happen. Maybe it's some scripted bullshit. Maybe. As in for sure. All right. Yes, if you think it's a pretty good show, go ahead and hook your boy up and hit the thumbs up button. I would greatly appreciate it. It would be pretty good if you guys would hit that thumbs up button. Doxological Thinker said, can you do Morgan Freeman translating for Stephen Hawking? Hi, I'm Morgan Freeman. I've been told that people trust me, and if you trust me, then you will blindly accept that I am going to translate for Stephen Hawking, and you're going to accept whatever I tell you that he is saying when he mumbles. And when Stephen Hawking mumbles, what he is trying to tell the world is, you should take a vaccine. I took the vaccine, and this man here took a vaccine, and everybody should take the vaccine. Furthermore, if you trust Stephen Hawking, then you'll take the vaccine. And if you trust me, you'll take a booster as well. Now, you might think that when he mumbled that there's no way that he said all that stuff that I just told you, but again, you're just going to have to trust me, and I'm Morgan Freeman, and I've been told people do trust me. So, yeah. All right. I was like, where am I going to go with this? After I just showed the Morgan Freeman thing, it's like, that's like what's fresh on my mind is him recommending vaxes, right? Holden says, 10 years, Jake. I hope you come to my show this week. All right, maybe I can stop by the stream for a few minutes and check it out. Thank you, Holden. I appreciate the super chat donation, buddy. RY said Brian translating for Stephen Hawking's. Stephen Hawking clearly sees that Alex Pretti was murdered in cold blood, and he also is staying alive even longer than you might thought possible because he's been eating my lab-made collagen powder along with every meal as a supplement. That's why Stephen Hawking looks so good for his age. And he also says that Alex Jones is nothing but a CIA asset, and he's a bootlicker to boot. Clearly, Alex Pretti was not only murdered in cold blood, but the same thing happened to Renee Nicole Good. Clearly, they want the control state to further take away the rights and the liberties of fellow humans like you and I. What? There you go. Pulling shit out of my ass for you guys. All that glitters is old, with a donation says, congrats on 10 years. Any chance you can end the stream with a bit of bass? You know what? I might just be able to pull that off for you. All that glitters is old. You know, it's a very generous super chat, and I was going to wrap it up here soon. So I guess I can go ahead and fire it up. Why not? Oh, wonderful. All right, give me just a minute to get my shit set up. I wasn't prepared for this request. So give me just a minute to get my gear all fired up, tuned up. Everything's all all right. I want to make sure I'm all tuned up. I'll play a quick tune before we sign off for tonight. Jeez. Woo! All right. Haven't played in a while. I didn't have time to warm up, so I screwed up a few things there, but there you go. There's a little bass for that ass. Little slap bass for you. All right. There you go. A little bass to close out the show for you guys tonight. Hopefully it sounded okay. It looks like I had some super chats come in while I was playing. One from KJ, no message attached, but a super chat nonetheless. And RY said, Jake, someone in chat wanted you to do an impression of Alex Jones, sing the Milkshake song, or maybe it was actually Trump doing Holler Back Girl. Alex Jones singing the Milkshake song. That sounds like it could be funny.
Folks, my milkshake brings all the boys to the yard, and their life is better than yours. Damn right, it's better than yours. I could teach you, but I'd have to charge.
Few times I've been around that track, so it's not just gonna happen like that, because I ain't no holla back girl. Ain't no holla back girl. This shit is bananas, a bananas. This shit really is bananas, bananas. Few times been around that track, so I'm not just gonna let you slip it in my crack. I ain't no holla back girl. No holla back girl.
And their life is better than yours.
There you go. Why? Because that's what you asked for. You asked for that shit. Looks like I got one from Suzette Ann as well. Suzette Ann says, what was the exact site of your anniversary? Have looked into some animals are faked. What's the exact, I think you're asking what's the exact date of my anniversary. So I'm pretty sure the first video came out on like the 26th. Let me make double sure. I'll check it right now. So my first video came out on January 26th. So we're a couple days over. So my anniversary was a couple days ago. But it's all the same. We're going to be celebrating the 10-year anniversary all year long. You're going to hear me mention it. 10 years of truth. Yep, we started January 26, 2016. Flat Earth popular questions. That was back before I knew how to edit a video.
Hello.
That's how it starts, right? Just me in my apartment with my phone talking about flat Earth. That's how we got started. Go back and check it out if you've never seen it. I haven't been looking into fake animals lately. I was making the football content, and then I had to study up on the Alex Pretti shit and prepare for the stream. So the last several days, I haven't looked into any of the animals or fake stuff. It's kind of a weird subject. I'm not sure, like, where to find solid proof, you know, on some of these subjects. And it instantly turns some people away if you say, like, a certain animal's fake or a lab-made creation. There's some people that are instantly turned away by that sort of content. So I'm kind of not sure where exactly to look and find the best evidence. Maybe you could send me some videos or post some videos for me that you think have the best evidence. Thank you, Suzette. I appreciate the super chat. And I see Big Money Bob's giving out some memberships. Thank you very much, Big Money Bob, hooking people up with memberships. Oh, shit. I missed one from D. Cran earlier, talking about my Super Bowl breakdown video. Let me pull that one up real quick. Sorry for missing the super chat earlier, D-Cran. My bad. Hopefully you're still here watching. D-Cran4D says, can't wait to see the scripted video of the Super Bowl you will do after the game. Yes, I do a Super Bowl breakdown, and I'm also going to be working on the top 10 scripted plays of the whole season, which is going to be mostly number one plays, maybe a few plays from the playoffs as well. So I'm going to do a top 10 most scripted plays of the entire season video. And I'm thinking I'll come out with that next week when when there's no games on Saturday or Sunday. I'm thinking Saturday or Sunday I'll release that. Maybe Sunday I'll put out top 10 most scripted plays of the season video since there's no game. And then, yeah, Super Bowl's in 2 weeks. Not this coming Sunday, but the next one. And then, yeah, once I break that down, that's the end of football content until the season starts up again in September. So that means I'll be making all sorts of other content. And that also means the views are going to go down. Yeah, it's that time of the year where I make all sorts of other random content and the views go down. Yeah. And the algorithm doesn't know what to do with me. Sweet. Can't wait for the algorithm to not know what to do with my non-football content. Is the Pro Bowl real? That's a dumb question. The Pro Bowl's like a flag football game. And even that is fake. So it's a fake flag football game. They don't even play tackle football anymore. Decran said, I'll still be here. I know you people who watch my streams, you guys are going to stick around and keep watching the streams and follow the conspiracy content. And there's a lot of people who are big fans of the channel and have been for years who don't care for the NFL content. So you people who don't care about the NFL content, I know that this is your favorite time of the year when the football content goes away. And I make all sorts of other type of content. But the people who only care about the football content, they stop watching and the views go down. But that's the problem when you make multiple types of different content that different people enjoy. You get different audiences under the same banner. So I've got an audience that digs the live streams, and it's a different audience that digs the football content. And so it's like 2-3 different audiences that I have under the same banner. Yes, I know. Most of the females who watch the live streams aren't big fans of the NFL stuff. They're usually the first ones who are like, we're glad the NFL stuff's ending. All right, I'm getting tired. I've been on here for 2.5 hours, and I got through the stuff that I wanted to show you guys tonight. Played some bass. Now I'm feeling hungry and tired. Need to take my dog out for a walk. So this is a good time, I guess, to wrap it up. So thank you guys for watching tonight. Thank you to everybody who sent a super chat and all the messages I didn't read. I'll go back and watch the replay later on, and I'll read everybody's comments, and I'll see who was here and what was said. So thank you to everybody who was here and participated. I really appreciate you guys still supporting the channel, celebrating 10 years of truth. So maybe I'll even do another stream this weekend. Maybe I'll do like a Super Bowl pick'em special this weekend or something like that. I don't know. I haven't figured it out yet, but anyway, I'll let you guys know once I do figure it out. So you guys have a great night. Thank you for tuning in on Wake 'em Up Wednesday, and I'll catch you guys in the next video or the next live stream. I love you guys. Here's to 10 more years of truth. Have a good night. Peace out. Bye-bye.